Hello, hello. Welcome to English Extras. I'm Jean, your guide to making your English sound natural and authentic. This podcast is all about helping intermediate and advanced learners move beyond textbook phrases so you can express yourself with confidence. Want to follow along with today's episode? Check out the transcript linked in the description. It's packed with key vocabulary, definitions, and example sentences, as well as links to additional resources to help you take your learning to the next level. Ready? Let's get started. Today, we're talking about goals. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a goal to become fluent in English. You're probably already at the intermediate level, or maybe you're already advanced, but you're looking to become totally fluent. You want to be able to listen, speak, read, and write with native speakers, maybe just like a native speaker. Here's the thing. Are you making the right goal? I'm not going to tell you your goal is wrong because you have to live your life in the best way for you. However, I will present an idea to you. If a goal is too vague or unreasonable, the goal can actually slow or even stop your progress. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you some tips you can use today to make sure your goal is the best goal for you so you can feel motivated and make real progress. Having a goal is important. A goal is like a beacon. A beacon is a signal that helps guide you, like a lighthouse, for example. Having a goal is a beacon that can help guide you toward fluency. Another example is the GPS in the map app on your phone. A beacon is your destination. When you know your destination, your map can guide you straight to it. When I started learning French in 2020, I didn't have a goal. Because I didn't have a goal, my learning and progress were all over the place. I had a lot of resources, but I didn't know what to focus on. So I focused a little bit on everything, which was not helpful at all. But in 2021, my husband and I wanted to go to France for our honeymoon. I did not want to rely on English as a tourist. I wanted to be able to communicate with French people, mainly because we didn't want to visit Paris. We wanted to spend time outside of Paris in places where English is not as widely used. Now I had a goal to learn French to make my travel experience in France easier. This also provided a lot of motivation, which is key. Why are you learning English? Be clear about why. When I could answer that question, why am I learning French? My progress skyrocketed because I knew what to focus on and I had a clear picture of my destination. My beacon was guiding me. This is why having a clear, specific goal is important. In 2020, my goal was learn French, but that is too vague. Because it was too vague, I couldn't see my progress. So at the end of 2020, I was frustrated and gave up learning French for a while. When we decided to go to France, my goal changed from learn French to learn enough French to travel in France more easily. This is an example of a SMART goal. SMART, SMART. This is an acronym, meaning each letter represents another word. Let's talk about each letter and what it represents. S stands for specific. Learn French is a good example of a not specific goal. Learn basic French to travel in France is more specific. I could keep going. Learn basic French phrases with clear pronunciation in order to book a hotel room, order in a restaurant, and ask simple questions in shops, and be able to generally understand the answer. The more specific the goal is, the more you can focus your learning. M stands for measurable. This part is the most important part, I think. Being able to measure your progress will help you feel motivated. When you can't see your progress, you might start thinking that you aren't making any progress. But that probably isn't true. So when my students talk to me about goals, one of my first questions is, how are you going to measure that? I'll give you an example. One way I measured my progress in French was through a course by Alice Ayel, who is a fantastic French teacher. She has her own website with videos divided into levels from baby stage to adult stage. I started with the simplest videos. After some time, I could return to the simplest videos and noticed I could understand everything. If you're interested in learning more, I highly recommend researching about comprehensible input. A stands for attainable. Attainable means you are able to get it, to attain it. Are you able to become fluent in English? Absolutely you are. Are you able to become fluent in English in 2 weeks? Some YouTubers might say you can, but I'd say they're lying. Make sure your goal is something you can reasonably achieve. I knew I could learn survival travel French in time to go to France. It was an attainable goal. R stands for relevant. Relevant means something is connected or related to something else. Is your goal relevant to what you need? Think about why you want to learn English. Is it for a job? Is it for a hobby? Is it for school? Learning English should connect to your life, whatever the reason. Finally, T stands for time-bound. This is the when part of your goal. Give yourself a time frame, meaning an amount of time. Think about the other parts of your goal when you answer this question. The amount of time you give yourself should be attainable, meaning you're able to get it, and it should be relevant. When I was learning French, my deadline was my trip to France. I started in 2021 and was going to go to France halfway through 2022. So it was attainable and relevant. Now, I will tell you something. At the beginning of 2022, as my husband and I were preparing for our wedding and our honeymoon, we realized that going to France was no longer an option. It would be much easier to stay in America for our honeymoon. As soon as we made that decision, my momentum and motivation to learn French disappeared. This is why having a SMART goal is important. If you don't have all of those pieces in place, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, then your motivation and momentum can just disappear in a moment. Of course, I say all of this, and I believe all of this, but there's one crucial part missing to make this picture complete. Systems. If you read Atomic Habits by James Clear, you might remember what he wrote about systems. According to James Clear, systems are better than goals. Remember what I said about goals being a beacon, a guiding light? A goal is only a destination, but it is not the journey itself. A system, on the other hand, is the journey. If a goal is the destination, a system is the vehicle that takes you to your goal. A system is basically a collection of habits. What are you doing every day to achieve your goal? If your goal is to receive a high score on a challenging exam, then your system might be 60 minutes of review every night after dinner, followed by 5 questions from a practice exam. Suppose your goal is to be able to watch all of the TV show Friends and understand everything 100%. In that case, your system might be to watch an episode every day during lunch. Then later, during dinner, review new vocabulary from that day's episode. Maybe once a week, you have a class with a teacher to discuss the episodes you watched and the expressions you learned. Whatever your system looks like, and a system is unique to each person, the most important thing is consistency. Do something in English every day. Daily habits will keep the language fresh in your mind. Consistency is more important than intensity, meaning that a little bit every day is better versus one big burst of learning once a week. It's better because consistency will help you remember what you learn in the long term. Right now, think about your current goal or goals, plural, for English. Is it a SMART goal? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. If your goal is too vague, rewrite it to make it clearer. Think about your motivation. Why are you learning English? Why is it important to you? What kind of person are you hoping to become? What does your system look like? What are your current English habits? Are you doing something in English every day? How can you make your habits more efficient? And don't forget to reward yourself. Of course, making progress in English is a reward too, but you can reward yourself in other ways as well. Think about how you learn and what is best for your brain. And remember, a little bit every day, consistency over intensity. What's your SMART goal for English? Let me know in the comments. As always, Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.